Day 381, 22 for 22. Good morning. I hope this finds you well. Please stay in your fight and don't quit. Alright, so I'm going to deviate a little bit from what I normally do. I kind of did this before, some historical things, just to give a different look at life, I guess. Alright, so 1942, we were in the middle of the Battle of Midway. Actually, it was starting to wind down today. The Midway battle ran from the 4th through the 6th. The Japanese lost 4 carriers and most of their experienced pilots. Changed the course of World War II, at least in the Pacific. And then the other big one, which I was a part of in 1994, is D-Day. June 6, 1944, we breached the Atlantic Wall. 4th Infantry Division went through at Utah Beach, and then 1st and 29th and a couple went through at Omaha. The 75th Rangers scaled Point du Hoc, and the Airborne Drops behind the lines to secure the causeways, to make sure that the Germans couldn't come in and reinforce and push us off the beach. It was a big, and I will tie that into this. The Airborne Drops were a big mess. If you ever watched Band of Brothers, obviously I'm not old enough, I wasn't there, but my grandfather was. He went ashore at Omaha. What, Mary? Right on the dirt. Just stay out of the flowers. All right. My grandfather went ashore at Omaha. The whole day, the Airborne Drops were nuts. Anti-aircraft fire, clouds, all these different things threw off the jumps. They jumped either too far, they jumped too short, they jumped everywhere but where they were supposed to. The soldiers on the beaches, at Utah Beach, we were a mile south of where we were supposed to, which was actually good because otherwise it would have been 2 bloody beaches. Utah Beach, where we ended up invading, was not as well defended as it was just a mile north. They hadn't finished. Now, to tie that into the staying in your fight and don't quit, that day, had our fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers given up, well, one, they wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here in the current form we are. If they hadn't adapted and overcame, they wouldn't have won that day. There was so much adapting and overcoming to achieve the objective that it was pretty much ridiculous, honestly. General Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt Jr., went ashore at Utah Beach, and the dude was on a cane. He actually ended up dying, I think, a month into the campaign, and is buried in France. I think the only general buried abroad. He saw that he did a recon with an element, moved forward a little bit, saw that they were in the wrong damn spot, and then he had his little staff meeting there on the beach, and they said, "Do we re-embark on the landing craft and move north, or what do we do?" Roosevelt jammed his cane into the sand and said, "We'll start the war from here." So big adapt and overcome there. Our airborne forces did the same thing. Now, we have fought in many wars, many battles since then. There's nothing bigger than the battle that we face at home. You had to adapt and overcome on the battlefield to make it home. Now you need to do the same thing here. Adapt and overcome here and have a good life. Have a successful life. Mitigate your issues, whether it's the TBI, PTSD, broke feet, broke legs, broke back, broke neck, whatever it may be. You need to work as hard as you can to adapt and overcome from that, and make sure that we take care of our families and have good relationships. So many things that we can do to adapt and overcome from the things that have taken us down, and we can do it. You know why? Because we were all American soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen. We have the will, we have the power within us to do whatever we set our minds to do it. Now, is it going to be easy? No, it's going to be a fucking fight for your life. but it's the fight worth fighting. I'm gonna knock out some push-ups. Oh God. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. One for the airborne ranger in the sky. One for the infantry. One for our fallen. So stay in the fight. Don't quit. If you need help, seek help. Get it from friends, family, professionals if you need to. But whatever you do, please, please, please do not seek the permanent solution of suicide to a temporary problem. Tough out.